Alrighty, we have reached week 8 of the NFL season, already almost halfway through the season at this point, and we're coming off a really solid week of picks where we actually went perfect in the early window, so always a good feat when we can do that. As we look at the slate for week 8 here, have a bunch of teams on the bye this week. The Lions, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jaguars will all be on the bye this week. But with that being said, let's get right into the picks for this week. And we start on Thursday Night Football. And Thursday Night Football has been really tough to bet recently. 3 weeks in a row, there's been 3 major upsets. Even if you look at how much the teams have been favored by, it's been lopsided, heavy underdogs that are finding ways to win at these Thursday Night Football games. But I did do a lot of research on this. I think if you look at the Chargers, they are somewhat depleted with injuries, but there's enough there where they've been consistent. And you look at Minnesota, too. They still have some injuries on their end as well. They have not been that solid. Wentz has been okay for them, but they just haven't been able to translate wins. If you look at it, the Chargers in this game, they're going to be home. I think it gives them a possibility to win. I still think this is a really close game. Really, one of those games is a bit of a coin flip, but I just think if you look at Harbaugh in big games, you look at Justin Herbert and some of those weapons that have looked a lot better on offense for the Chargers, their defense that is known to make some plays. I still think they find a way to get a win here, and I think the Chargers win 21-20. I think it's a really close game. I think Justin Jefferson and that Minnesota offense finds a way to keep this game close and competitive. Their defense with Brian Flores, still a pretty solid unit. But I'm pretty sure in this one that the Chargers are going to find a way to get this victory 21-20 at home. Moving on to the Sunday slate of games, you have the Jets and the Bengals. And the Bengals look really revived at this point when you look at it. With Joe Flacco there, you actually have somebody that can get these good wide receivers the ball. And even if you look at it for Joe Flacco, when he was with the Browns doing what he was doing, he had nowhere near the receiver personnel that this Bengals team has. Like Jamar Chase, potentially the best wide receiver in the NFL right now that he's able to throw to. Then he looks to his other side. He's got Higgins, so he has weapons. The defense looks a little more inspired for the Bengals, which is good. They have juice. They have a reason for it. If you look at the Jets, just flat. Justin Fields has been benched. Breece Hall has not been as good. So there's just not a lot there for the New York Jets. So at this point, I'm going to take the Bengals to get this win 31-26. I think it's close and competitive because the Jets are looking for anything. They're looking to find a win somehow, and they're going to do whatever they can to get it. But I just think Flacco, with the momentum of the Cincinnati Bengals, they will find a way to win this game 31-26. Moving on, you have the Browns and the Patriots. And the Patriots looked a lot more impressive in that other game where they just dominated through and through with Mike Vrabel. He's been such a sensation for building the culture of that team overall. It's been really solid for them. But the Browns, they got a good win as well. Dylan Gabriel and Judkins, they beat up on Tua. The defense had 3 picks on him. They looked really good against a struggling Miami team. I still believe at this point, though, that the Patriots, just with their personnel, if you go personnel to personnel, they have better personnel than Cleveland Browns. Browns are a team that are very much so a year away. They're still talented, but they're not talented enough to win these big games, these big matchups, maybe next year when they get it together. But I'm going to take the Patriots in a close game, 24-20. Think they'll have enough to get this victory. And I think that Drake May has a pretty solid game against a good Browns defense. And the Patriots win 24-20. Moving on, you have the Dolphins and the Falcons. And I think the Dolphins are just a dumpster fire at this point. They are falling apart. Mike McDaniels is falling apart. Tua is falling apart. The offense has injuries all around it. The defense is bad. So even if you look at a team like Atlanta that looks drastically different on the road and is not really able to play very well outside of a dome, they still have Bijan Robinson, Drake London, really solid players that can impact games. And Atlanta is known for occasionally having that blowout. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I think that they win big in this game. Take Atlanta's spread. I have them winning 31-10. I think they get a really solid victory against a very poor, bad Miami team right now. 31-10. Atlanta wins in a blowout. Moving on, you have the Giants and the Eagles, and this is a rematch of the Thursday night football game where the Giants really dominated the entire game. And the Giants, they're coming out a little flat right now. Had that Bo Nix miraculous comeback game where Denver was able to overcome a 26-8 deficit in the fourth quarter. So there's probably a little shell shock there for the Giants. If you look at the Eagles, having a lot of trouble running the ball, but they had a really good passing attack in the previous game. This is what I'll say. It is really tough in the NFL or in any sport to beat a team twice. So that's where I think that the Eagles have the edge in this one. I think they'll be able to put some together. They've seen more film. They're able to scheme it up a little bit. So give me the Eagles in this one, 30-29. I think it's a really, really close game. I would take the points on the Giants side, but I still think the Eagles are going to find a way to win this game 30-29, but it will be a close one. Moving on, you have the Bills and the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers, they have been looking a lot better as of recent. They've been finding ways to definitely get things done. Bryce Young has not looked very good, but their personnel is all coming together at this point. The Bills, been a bit shaky on defense. If you look at it, Josh Allen has been playing well, but the offensive personnel when it comes to like wide receiver wise, not really there. But I still think the Bills are going to have enough to get this win against Carolina. I'm taking them 30-23. Think they'll have enough to get past them. James Cook, expect him to have a pretty good game in this one. Josh Allen, expect him to have more of a comeback game. It's not looked too good in the previous couple weeks. So give me the Bills 30-23 in this one. Next up, you have the Bears and the Ravens. And I've been hearing a lot of talk about Lamar Jackson potentially coming back, playing in this game. And that's fine. I understand that. But even if he comes back and plays, that defense is depleted right now, and he's going to be super rusty. You look at the Bears, 4 wins in a row. Ben Johnson has come in there. He has schemed it up properly. He is actually making them look like a well-run, viable organization. Some of the Bears just have not been in what has seemed to be years, and they're putting things together. DeAndre Swift has come in, running the ball really effectively. If you look at it, Ben Johnson and his offenses always has that signature back that's able to do things. Took a couple of weeks for DeAndre Swift to become that back, but he's become that back at this point, and he's played really well. Baltimore's gotten crushed previous times they played. I know they're coming off some rest, but at the same time, it doesn't matter to me. I think Chicago wins this game. I think it's close. I'll put into factor. I'll pick this game as if Lamar plays, and I'll say Chicago wins 28-25. But regardless of if he plays or if he doesn't play, I don't think he's going to be ready enough, amped up enough. I still think the defense has a lot of holes right now with the injuries. So give me the Bears, regardless of the Lamar status, 28-25 in this game. Moving on, you have the 49ers and the Texans. If you look at the 49ers, this is a team that I just don't want to bet against anymore. Seems like they're always finding ways to pull out victories. It makes no sense at all, given all the injuries that they have. They have a boatload of injuries. Everybody seems like they're hurt on this team. They're down to like guys off the street, and they're finding ways to come in and get these victories somehow. It's very impressive what Kyle Shanahan has been able to do. Kind of reminds me of the Browns in 2023 when they brought in Joe Flacco and they played like 8 different quarterbacks and they found ways to win with personnel going down week after week after week. And he should be coach of the year for that. He's done an incredible job. Mac Jones, a lot of credit has to go to him as well. But if you look at Houston, their defense is really good, but they've looked really inconsistent on offense. So at this point, I'm going to have to give the nod to the 49ers. I'm going to take them to win this 26-23. Just think they're going to be able to outduel CJ Stroud with Robert Saleh and how his defense has been playing on that end of the ball. I just don't know how CJ Stroud's going to put up much points. I'll give them benefit of the doubt. I'll give them scoring 23, but I think San Francisco wins this one 26-23. Moving on, you have the Buccaneers and the Saints. And Saints, one of those teams, I continue to say it week after week, sound like a broken record when I'm saying it. They just don't have the personnel right now. They don't have the personnel to win and compete in a lot of these games. It's been impressive that some of the games have been close, but you'll see it as the season goes on. The worse and worse and worse they're starting to look. If you look at Tampa Bay, they're coming off a bad loss to Detroit, but Detroit's a really solid team. Baker has sustained a lot of injuries. It sucks that Mike Evans is probably out for the year. He was back so briefly, but they still have Emeka Egbuka. They still have pieces on that offense. They still have Baker Mayfield. So I expect Baker Mayfield to come out and have a really impressive game, kind of a comeback, turnaround game from that Detroit performance. Don't expect them to lose 2 in a row. So give me the Buccaneers in this one, 35-27. I think with Baker, with that offense, with the abilities that they have on defense, they'll be able to carve through the Saints. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 35-27. Moving on, you have the Cowboys and the Broncos. And the Cowboys have looked much better than I thought they would this year. George Pickens, the character change that you've seen him. I don't know if it's Dak Prescott or it's the coaching there. There was a play in the other game where one of the defensive players, they were trying to get a rise out of him, like threw him to the ground or something. He just got up and was unresponsive to it, which is a major step for a guy like George Pickens. So he has completely turned it around. He's become a viable guy for him. CeeDee Lamb is back at this point, and the defense looked a little bit more inspired. We know it's pretty trash, but they looked a little more inspired. The other game, I've been very impressed with Dallas and what Dak Prescott's been able to do, all things together. And I think they put up a lot of points in this game. Denver is not, they have looked very inconsistent in games. If you look at it, like if they don't come back against the Giants, then we're having different conversations about them right now. Bo Nix looked awful until that fourth quarter. So I think the Cowboys win this game. I think they win 33-30. I think it's a bit of a shootout because Dallas just does not have the defensive personnel right now to really compete in some certain games. But I think they win the shootout. I think Dallas wins this 33-30, and they get a big victory over the Broncos. Moving on, you have the Colts and the Titans just without their coach now and not really riding a lot of that momentum, don't have the schemes. Cam Ward has not looked that great overall. Their personnel is bad. So I expect the Colts, who I think are one of the best teams in football and potentially the best team in the AFC, to the Chiefs. Like them and the Chiefs are hand in hand at this point. They've looked really good in games this year. So I'm going to take them to win pretty convincingly in this one against the Tennessee Titans. Give me the Colts 30-13. I think it's a blowout. I just don't think this Tennessee Titans team has any kick left to them. Give me the Colts big in this one, 30-13. Moving on, you have the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday night football action that you got going on. You have Aaron Rodgers against his old team, the Packers. Really interesting game. I think it's a close, competitive battle, but I just like the Green Bay Packers personnel a little bit better. I think that it's something that's personal to both teams, so I don't think you're playing the factor of it being super personal to Aaron Rodgers, maybe not that big of a deal. It's personal for both teams, so I don't think that gives an edge, that factor of it. I think if you look just team-to-team comparison, I expect Green Bay to win this game. Give me the Packers 27-24. I think it's really close. I think Aaron Rodgers has a good game, but if you look at it, the weakness for that Steelers team, surprisingly, whether you like it or not, is their defense has just not been that good. So that's been the issue. So for that reason, give me the Packers 27-24. Then you have a Monday Night Football game that on paper looks like it'll be really good between the Commanders and the Chiefs, but Jaden Daniels probably not going to play in this one. They're borderline unwatchable without Jaden Daniels at this point. Just don't have a kick. The Chiefs are looking like the best team in football with Rashee Rice coming back, Worthy being back. They look much better at this point. So give me the Chiefs in a blowout. I expect a lot of points in this game. Give me the Chiefs 38-21. Think they win big at this point, and they get yet another statement victory in this season, and they move on, go over 500. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for the Week 8 picks. If you look on the screen right now, you'll see my record for the season, we're hoping to get that up to 75% by the end of the year. With that being said, that's it for our picks. Let's hope to go undefeated this week, and I will be back for week 9.